It wasn't until the sister-in-law uncovered the shed behind her brother-in-law's house and revealed a luxury sports car worth millions that both they realized the poorest man in the village might actually be a secret millionaire. To uncover the truth about their brother-in-law's real identity, the two sisters headed to the kitchen to find him. Instead of finding him, they stumbled upon an $80,000 bottle of Romanée-Conti wine. Even more shocking, the kitchen held 50 cases of the same wine, leaving them dumbfounded. Together, those bottles of wine were worth an estimated $50 million. Overwhelmed with excitement, they rushed to the garden to find their brother-in-law. There, they saw him leisurely sipping wine, further confirming their suspicions. Rushing over to confront him, they demanded answers. The brother-in-law noticed their urgency and, in a panic, he asked the secretary to pretend to be the CEO of a company there to buy vegetables. The sister-in-law couldn't believe that a CEO would pay $1,000 for a single cucumber. She told him to stop pretending and mentioned that they had seen the Lamborghini in the shed. The brother-in-law's heart sank, realizing his secret might be exposed. Since he had no place to park his sports car, he had covered it with grass, but the sisters had found it. To avoid revealing his identity as a multi-billionaire CEO, he claimed that if he could afford a sports car, he wouldn't be farming. Despite his words, the sisters were convinced their brother-in-law was secretly wealthy. Later, they brought their sister, his wife, to the shed to prove their point. Their sister laughed, refusing to believe her husband was a hidden millionaire. The sisters lifted the cover of the shed in front of her, but to their surprise, the Lamborghini was gone. Earlier, on his way home, the brother-in-law had pretended to tie his shoe while secretly calling his secretary to have the Lamborghini moved. However, the car hadn't been taken far due to the lack of time. Hearing the engine roar in the distance, the two sisters recognized the sound of a Lamborghini. They grabbed their sister and rushed outside to check, but instead of finding the Lamborghini, they were greeted by the sight of a tractor. Relieved, the brother-in-law calmed down. To prevent further questioning about the sports car, he invited them back home for a nice meal. Just then, his wife mentioned that the neighbor's uncle was having a birthday party today. She said she'd go help out and told her sisters to change into something nice for the party. She also told her husband to dress better so he wouldn't embarrass her. Once they left, the man immediately called his secretary, instructing him to send a gift to the neighbor in the name of the company. Meanwhile, he continued his act as a poor man, bringing only 2 bottles of wine to the party. The neighbor saw his gift and looked at it with disdain, not realizing each bottle of Romanée-Conti was worth $800,000. The guests laughed at him, mocking him for being poor and coming to freeload. To hide his true identity, the man endured their insults without explanation. The two sisters, seeing the mockery, insisted that their brother-in-law was incredibly wealthy. This only caused everyone to laugh even louder. The neighbors and guests continued to humiliate him, saying that a poor man shouldn't have married such a beautiful wife. They even said that his wife was bound to cheat on him eventually. Hearing this, the man suddenly realized that his wife had arrived at the party earlier, but she was nowhere to be seen. Suspicious, he thought she might be having an inappropriate relationship with the neighbor's son. He immediately ran inside to search for her. He called her phone, following the ringtone, which led him to a room. He pushed the door open and found his wife cheating with the neighbor's son. He angrily beat him up. Unexpectedly, his wife slapped him across the face. In order to ruin both of their reputations, the man dragged his wife outside. At that moment, his sister also guessed that her sister-in-law might be cheating. The woman realized she could no longer hide it, so she made everything public. In fact, whenever the man was not home, she had been with the neighbor's son. Although the man treated her very well, she looked down on him for being poor and for being unable to give her a better life. By contrast, the neighbor's son had just received a purchase order from the Billionaire Group. They were about to step into high society. Little did they know that the man was the CEO of the Billionaire Group. He angrily snatched the purchase order contract away and then publicly tore it up. Seeing this, the neighbor became furious. His wife was even angrier and raised her hand to slap him, but this time, he did not hold back. He said he could give the purchase order to the neighbor's son and could just as easily take it back. No one believed what the man said. They thought he was bragging. His wife looked at him with even more contempt. At that moment, the neighbor's son told him that the group's secretary would come later to sign the contract and demanded that the man kneel and apologize right now. Otherwise, once the secretary arrived, he would definitely punish the man for tearing up the order. Seeing this, the two sisters nearby wanted to save their brother-in-law's face, so they lied that the man's identity was extraordinary and that once the secretary arrived, he would have to bow down to him too. So they urged the neighbor's son to apologize to the man. Hearing this, the woman laughed and even told the two sisters to stay away from the man, or they might get dragged down with him. At that moment, gifts from the Billionaire Group were delivered. These gifts were worth $7.5 million, just to celebrate the neighbor's 60th birthday. When they saw that the secretary had not arrived, the assistant told them that the secretary was handling other matters and would be there shortly. The woman complained to the assistant, saying that the man had not only torn up the contract, but had also claimed to be the group's CEO. The assistant said that although he had never met the CEO, it definitely could not be the man. He angrily accused accused the man of daring to impersonate the CEO, and warned that anyone associated with the man would be dragged into this as well. The two sisters did not abandon the man because of this. They still believed he was an important figure, but the sister-in-law did not want to be implicated, so she publicly announced that she was severing all marital ties with the man. Even though the man said he could give her everything she wanted, whether status or wealth, she did not believe him. At that moment, the neighbor was also afraid of being implicated, and their family also cut ties with the man. Looking at these people who had once been the closest to him now revealing their ugly true colors, the man warned them not to regret it. Then he announced that he was canceling the order with the neighbor's family. After hearing this, everyone mocked him for acting so badly, saying he was addicted to pretending to be the CEO. The man said no more, and instead called the secretary to cancel the order with the neighbor's family, and to never cooperate with them again. Even then, no one believed the man. Just as the neighbor's son was preparing to sign the contract with the assistant suddenly received a call from the secretary, and announced that the signing ceremony was cancelled and that they would never cooperate again. Instantly, everyone was shocked.